want to call the meeting to order. So before we get started, let's introduce everyone on this meeting. I'm Sandy Brock. When I call your name, please confirm that you are present. I'm going to start with the commissioners. Helen?
I am here, Helen Cheney.
Alicia?
I'm here.
Patrick?
I'm here.
John?
I'm here.
And then I'll go through the staff. Leah?
Here.
Samantha?
Present.
And then I see our anticipated speakers on the call, and that would be Bob Murphy. If you could just unmute and just say you're here.
I'm here.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, the open meeting of the Conservation Commission is being conducted remotely via Zoom, consistent with the Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of COVID-19. In order to mitigate transmission of COVID-19, the Governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location and encourages public bodies to hold meetings remotely with reasonable public access. Access information for the public is provided on the town website. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. Please remember to mute your phone or your computer when you're not speaking. As chair, I will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, I will invite each commissioner by name to provide any comments, questions, or motions. After the commissioners have spoken, I will allow public comments starting with those received in advance of the meeting, followed by real-time comments or questions typed by participants in the chat feature. Anything typed in the chat feature needs to be addressed to everyone and not a sole individual. Both types of comments and questions will be followed by real-time commission and applicant responses. Finally, each vote will be conducted by roll call. All right. Anything up front before we start, Leah?
Nope.
Very good. Okay, pursuant to the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act and the Grafton Wetlands Protection Bylaw, the Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing to act upon a notice of intent and application for Grafton Wetland Protection Bylaw for the construction of a single-family house at 21 Meadowbrook Road in Grafton. This is a continuation, and Bob, would you like to say anything?
Yes, good evening. I'm Bob Murphy with Murphy Associates, and I'm representing James Conkey, who I see on the screen is also here. Since our last meeting, we have received a peer review from Ecotech Inc., Art Allen, and while we acknowledge that the peer review pretty much follows DEP guidelines, we feel that we would like to get more of a clarification on the, shall we say, modernization of use of science more than using, the old maps. And we'd like to do that with the DEP. At the same time, understanding that unfortunately, we had a drought this year. We, on a couple of other occasions, on other years, I have seen the stream dry for a period exceeding 30 days, so 2 different years. But that we weren't able to do that this year because of the drought. So what we'd like to do is it's kind of a two-pronged approach here. Number one is to continue the hearing in such a period that we would be able to hopefully meet the 4 days of no flow in a period when there's not a drought, and also to approach the DEP in order to get some clarification where we feel that the use of stream stats and previous determinations might have an impact upon the current use of the USGS maps with, using a blue line. James put together a pretty good letter explaining his position relative to conversations that we've had. And essentially, the USGS folks, they kind of acknowledged that using the maps from 1984, USGS maps, was really not intended for the purpose of identifying perennial streams. And we're basically going to follow an approach with the DEP where, believe it or not, I'm going to approach the Attorney General's office as well as the Governor's office and see if we can get more of a clarification on the use of science rather than outdated maps in order to determine perennial streams. This is really not your issue. This is more of an issue that we're going to have with the DEP. But that being said, we would like to continue the public hearing to a time when we feel that we may have 4 days of no flow, or certainly have an answer relative to 310 CMR 10.58 and its use of USGS maps. So with that being said, basically I'll pretty much give it back to the chair and let you know that we are requesting to continue the hearing to a time that's really workable with the commission and Mr. Conkey relative to, when we might feel that we could get some no flow conditions. And we do not anticipate no flow till, July or August next year, barring the fact, climate change and potential drought. We're hoping to get around that. But that's basically the position. James, if you want to add more to that, you're certainly welcome to.
No, Bob, you summed it up pretty well there. I don't have anything else to add at this time.
Sure. So, I mean, obviously I have no issue at all with you, seeking to, approach the DEP and whatever other avenues you want to do. As far as the continuance, you basically have a few choices. First, just like to indicate that it is the applicant who requests the continuance. So that's fine. That's your right to do that. So the two ways of doing it is to continue to a date uncertain. And what that basically means is that you don't have to do a date that it would be like, say you don't have to pick the first Tuesday in August. You could just pick, say, a date undetermined. What that does mean is when you want to have a public hearing, you would notify us, you'd have to re-notify your butters of the meeting. So that gives you flexibility. The other way to do it is to look at our meeting for the 2021, which is posted. I think, Lee, it's already on the website.
Yeah,
So
they
that's,
picked out a date already.
yeah, so you can also just do to a date, and that's fine too. The only questions I would have for the other commissioners, because it's such a long time, is whether just to make sure we're in line with the public meeting laws, is that we ask you to re-notify the abutters, because it's such a long time. I know we're doing it to a date certain, but usually it's 2 weeks out or 4 weeks out or something, and this one is going to be 6 months out. But
We don't have a problem with, as you mentioned on the first suggestion that you have, to not have a date, and also, re-notifying the abutters, at whatever periods required for that meeting. We don't have a problem with that at all. Right? We're not trying to fool anybody here. We're transparent
Nope.
right up front, but it's just a case of where, to just keep continuing, continue. That's not to your benefit at all.
which is why I gave the first kind of option. And again, these are, as the applicant, these are your rights. I can also tell you, just because of another hearing that was continued along periods of time is we checked with DEP on like how long can you really like keep continuing without any substantial change in information, which isn't where you're at this point at all. And that's up to 2 years. So, you know, there is some flexibility there where if you do it to a date uncertain, then you basically, we're not really going to do anything. We're going to have, you know, we'll keep track. Leah will keep track that, you know, after a couple of years, if you haven't been back to us, we'd probably close the, you know, close out this hearing. But if you don't know if it's going to be June or July or August, you can do a date uncertain, and you can just then request to be put on a meeting and would have to do the normal notification that you would for any public hearing. So the choice is up to you.
We're fine with that.
That's
Okay.
fine.
Okay. Does any of the commissioners have any questions? I'll do a quick roll call just to kind of complete the process here. Patrick, any questions?
Nope, no questions.
Helen, any questions?
No, not at this time.
All right. John, any questions?
Nope, no questions.
And Alicia, any questions?
Nope, I don't have any questions.
I don't have any questions, and obviously, good luck. I mean, we're just trying to follow the regs, and I have no idea, you know, how DEP will react and what you can do, but you're more than, you know, it's within your kind of your rights to go through this process. So good luck on that. The only other thing I want to do is, because this is a public hearing, I just want to give anyone that's out there in the public, if you happen to be on this, I don't think anyone else is, but I will go through the process anyways. If you do have any questions or comments, and actually I should do it because James is part of the public, so I should actually, even though he's here as the applicant, but if anyone does have any comments or questions, you know, please type in the chat feature if you do, and make sure you address it to all. All right. Other than that, is there anything else that you'd like to ask, or otherwise we will move to do a continuance to a date undetermined?
No, I just like to say that we appreciate the time that you've given us on this, and we appreciate your patience with us. You know, this is a different type of situation where, you know, if we felt that it was, you know, there was no recourse for us, we wouldn't be wasting your time. But we honestly feel that it's worth our while to pursue this. And again, we appreciate your understanding.
Not a problem. So can someone make a motion of this continuance to a date uncertain?
I'll make a motion to continue the hearing for 21 Meadowbrook Road to a date uncertain.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Okay. Lee, is there anything else that we should put in this motion? I think it's pretty straightforward.
In the motion, no, I just wanted to clarify that re-notifying abutters is also accompanied with a new legal ad at the time.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Having informed you of that, so let's do a vote, and we'll do it by roll call. So I'll go around my nice little Brady Bunch window here. So Patrick,
Yes.
Helen,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Alicia.
Yes.
I am also a yes. It passes unanimously. So good luck.
Thank you. Thank you for your help.
All right.
Take care.
Thanks, everyone.
All right.
You're
Have a
welcome.
good,
Good
safe
luck.
holiday.
Same deal.
Merry Christmas.
You as well. Be safe.
Okie doke. So as far as action items, we've got minutes. So I actually did have an opportunity to review them. Does anyone else have any comments, questions, corrections for the minutes?
I'm all set.
All right. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
I'll make a motion to accept the December 1st meeting minutes.
Oh, second.
I'll second that.
All right, and we'll do a vote by roll call. Patrick,
Yes.
Helen,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and Alicia.
Yes.
I am also a yes. It passes unanimously. Okay, so Leah, I just had a question. So you sent out an email on the electronic signature and stuff. So I'm just curious, just because I also have one for work, which is, a different organization, but so I just want to make sure everyone understands what this third party verification is and how you have to do it. And you can tell me, Leah, how I know what I had to do for another company and that I had to have a specific fob mailed to me. I had to put it on my work computer and it has to stay there. And for the verification, can you go through a little bit of what this third-party verification means for electronic
So
signature?
as far as I'm aware, it's not nearly that complicated.
Okay.
It's just like using DocuSign. If any of you guys have ever had to use that to sign off on an insurance document or something, you get emailed the document. It will have certain boxes for you to click on and insert your signature, whether you draw it out with your mouse or a stylus, or you hold up you sign on a piece of paper and hold it up to your camera and it inserts that version. And then I believe, and Samantha can speak to this better than I can, because she tried the end of things that you guys will be looking at today. So I believe after that, the next step is it sort of gives you a disclaimer to sign off on, and by typing your name in that disclaimer, you're certifying that it was you that put your signature in
Okay.
there. And
All right,
all
so
of
this-
this data lives in
Right.
Adobe's
And
server.
who owns our signatures? Because
What
it's
do you mean, who owns
so,
them?
and this is just getting into some weeds here, but so when I sign something as a professional engineer and I'm doing the third party verification, I have to be in control of my signature all the time. So the process that we went through to get this independent signature is that I'm the one that has access to it. I'm the only one that has access to it. And the verification is for me only. So like when you get a DocuSign, someone is sending to you that document and they have control of it. And I don't have a problem with that. I'm just wanting to make sure that my signature is secure out there.
Let me
That
just
sure.
open the one that we tested today, but I believe that when it came back to me after Samantha signed it, it was a locked down PDF. I couldn't
Right.
do
And if you
anything
change it,
further.
a little explanation point or other text shows up that says this document has been altered.
I mean, if you guys have a different idea or a different program you like, feel free to throw that out there. They had a 14-day free trial on this Adobe one, and then once we would need to pay for it, it was much cheaper than
Right.
DocuSign. Is the only reason we landed on this.
And I don't have a problem, but you just have to be careful about how, first of all, that you meet the regulations, but also that it meets the current, standards for third-party verification, all that kind of crap. I just don't. I guess my thing is I don't want to be responsible for any part of this. As a as a member of the commission, I don't have any problem doing a DocuSign thing or Adobe Sign thing. I don't really care. I just want to make sure that it's meeting everything they were supposed to, and only because I just went through it through work, it got really it seems a lot more secure, the one that I did, than this one. But that's because it's my signature versus having you as a town own that third party verification, and all I'm doing is adding my signature like you would on DocuSign. So it kind of like who owns it and that kind of stuff. If I am just clicking on it and adding something, I don't have a problem. But I just don't want to be in control of stuff. And I know it's.
So would it help if shortly after I sent the email about the procedure changing. I also emailed out, last meeting, we voted on 26K Circle.
Yep.
This was the permit that even brought this issue to our attention. They tried to record it. The registry denied it. Then we got all this information on what we needed to do going forward.
Yep.
So I did set that one up in this program and sent it out to you guys. So if we treat that as the test one for you guys to see, is it something you're comfortable with? You can poke around their website, read about their security programs and things like that. And then we can reach some sort of consensus from there.
Okay. Yeah, and again, if it's kind of the DocuSign setup where I'm being asked to sign something and I'm not leading it, so to speak, I don't have a problem with that. It gets into a lot of legalities. I just want to make sure we're not, and obviously Adobe's pretty reputable and so forth. It's not a small company. So does anyone else have questions around this? And does anyone else have their own kind of digital signature?
I've got like a little clip. It's almost like an image that I signed physically using a stylus, and then I put that into a document when I'm signing that document. Like I just refinanced my mortgage, and I use that in that process, which made it easy.
That's not a digital signature. That is a digital graphical thing, and it's accepted in many places.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. I do that all the time too. And but there's a third party verified electronic signature meets certain standards, and it also meets certain regulatory standards, i.e., in this case, the Registry of Deeds, or when I'm doing it, stamping a plan in New Jersey, it meets the New Jersey, I forget what it is, the regulations around, New Jersey's, third party verified electronic signature. So it's really based in regulations. And so like doing kind of having an image of your signature, and if you apply it and that is accepted by everyone, that's good, but it's not that third party verification. That's all.
I've used the Adobe before for DEP documents back years ago.
Yeah.
And you had to, as I recall, you had to fill out a whole profile and create a whole thing, and then you had to enter in your password basically, and it wasn't anything that even looked like your signature. It just like printed your name with like an Adobe watermark basically next to it. Is it the same system now?
It looks a little different.
Okay.
So Samantha, could you walk us through the steps when you tested it this afternoon?
Yeah, I got an email saying, come sign this document as a test. And it gave the option of either writing in kind of like a stylus mode, however you're able to do that, for a signature, adding an image, and there might have been one other way, but I just don't remember what that was. You input that, and then there was however which way you chose, and then there's a little box at the bottom saying to type your name for verification. And then once I sent that in, I couldn't go back in that same link to change it or anything. It just was what it was. And then there's a verification link that comes through later that you can click on, and it pops up saying the signature was verified with this long code associated with it. It doesn't show up on the document itself, but you can click on the initials or the signature and it pops up in another browser or tab.
All right. Yeah, I was actually just bringing it up, and I was actually just doing it myself because I have that kind of stuff.
Was something sent out to us as a test or just to Samantha?
I got one.
The test with Samantha was separate. It was this afternoon. The one that I went to send to the 5 of you, I realized after the fact there's a slider to check or uncheck to have people sign in a certain order or sign in any order. So I think it probably went to Sandy as the first on the list. And when she's done, it'll go to the next person. I'll be sure to uncheck that feature in the future because we don't need to hold it up like that. But that's likely why the others are not seeing it yet.
Oh, okay, because it has to be, that was another question. It has to go one at a time type of stuff.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I didn't see, I checked my spam. I haven't seen one. That's why. That makes sense.
So yeah, so like I'm trying to import an image and it's not. Yeah, that's just because how mine's set up. It asks me to select the image and my signatures are in PDF, so that's why that.
Well, Leah had found, I think it was called Doc Sketch. So I was able to make a signature on there really quickly as a sample. And it gave the option as having a transparent background. So I saved that, and then that's the image that I saved and
Yeah.
uploaded.
Yeah, I mean, I have, yeah, that's kind of. Hold on a second. So, yeah, so I have different programs. Can I can share my screen, right?
It might not let you, but if you try, I might be able to turn it on from
Okay,
you
it says
trying.
host disabled, participant screen sharing.
Just
And
leave
then-
it on the side of town hall or something, and we can just go down and sign it on the side of the building. It might be easier.
All right, here we go.
Don't have to go into the building.
No, no.
Yeah. So,
Whoops.
so basically, if you can see my screen, like I have this set up so I can go in, I can pull in my stamp, and then I can actually just do signatures. So I do a lot of this, and this is acceptable, but this is different than the stuff I have to do for official documents. So this works fine, so I can do this kind of stuff, and I just have all different, different type of signatures and stuff. So that's easy. It's just that they're looking for an image, and mine are my signatures are PDFs. So there's different ways of doing it. And yeah, so different stamps, different states and stuff like that. But so I'll figure that out, Leah, and kind of let you know what I find.
Okay.
Let me see. I want to stop sharing. Come on,
Hello.
get my get the. I don't know. There we go, up here. I missed it right there. Okay, I'll go through and look at it. If this is me, if this is like the town controlling it, don't have a whole lot of issues, to be quite honest. So it's just weird. I like to be protective of where my signature is, even though my signature is on thousands and thousands of documents. I mean, anyone can grab it anytime, but it's just about being in control and stuff like that. So,
Sure.
but
Understandable.
yeah, and like the program I was using, which was Bluebeam, and I'm sure John, you use Bluebeam a lot too, and they actually have their own independent third-party verification of signatures, and they actually have they make all this stuff really very easy to do. So
Yeah, we use Bluebeam Review.
review, yep.
2019. So I've used that quite a bit, but I've never done my signature through that I know of. It's just
Yep. Yeah, it's really easy. If you've got like an iPad or some other kind of tablet, you put it in, you create it, you just create a stamp, and it's like, trust me, it's having to stamp plans and do signatures for hundreds of plans. It becomes very convenient and stuff, but
Yeah.
All right. So no, thank you, Leah, for kind of going through that. I mean, I'll look at it, but based on what you're saying is I'm just being invited to sign a document. It's not on me on the third party verification. That's the town sending that document out. So, and unless you want to get
Yes.
it all IT on you, and I don't know enough about the regulations and the standards and stuff to even talk about it. So,
Okay. Yeah, if you can look into it, decide if it's something you're comfortable with. If you
Yep.
have an alternative, we're open to that as well. We're just, at the moment, we're really trying to fix this permit from last time for this gentleman because it was now issued over a week ago. So,
Okay.
but he can't record it, so he's kind of stuck.
Yep. Well, I mean, if we can stick it electronically and it's acceptable by the registry, that's kind of the key thing. That's the bottom line. So, okay, I'll create something that I can sign this with. So,
Okay.
all right. Anything else? I think that was all
Two-
my questions.
Oh, about this, you guys, if you have any questions, let me know. I was just gonna say we have 2 other action items.
I missed that. Sorry. Oh, yes. So certificate of compliance, we did the meeting minutes, and then we have certificate of compliance for 141 George Hill Road.
Yeah, this
And-
was for a septic installation that they didn't go through with. So we just need to issue a COC so they can close it out.
Sounds good. Does anyone have a motion?
I motion to issue a certificate of compliance for the work at 141 George Hill Road.
And do I have a second?
Second that.
I will do roll call. Patrick,
Yes.
Helen,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Alicia.
Yes.
I am also a yes. Passes unanimously. And the CCR for Maza Farms.
This is the property that is adjacent to the open space at Silver Lake. It's the piece that you can access off of Nantucket. I don't know if it's street or road, but whatever. Off of the cul-de-sac at the end is the Maza Farms open space. There was supposed to be a baseline report done at the time when we acquired that open space. But it was not done. So instead you can do a current conditions report, hence CCR. The land trust has gone ahead and taken the initiative on getting that document together as holder of the CR there. So we just need to basically give it our seal of approval, and I believe it just gets the chair's signature. I read
Okay.
through the whole thing. I have no issues with it.
Okay, yeah, and would we do the same on the same type of method to sign it, or can you just send it to me and I'll do just a quick, graphical signature?
Yeah, I have it as a PDF. I can just email you the PDF.
Feel free to email me the PDF and I can take care of that.
Okay. So I guess we just need a motion of endorsement.
Okay, do I have a motion of endorsement?
I make a motion to endorse the CCR for Maza Farms.
Do I have a second?
Oh,
All
sorry.
right, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, Patrick,
Yes.
Helen,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Alicia,
Yes.
and I am also a yes, passes unanimously. So, all right, anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay. All right, other than that, unless anyone has anything to bring up or say,
I do.
what's up, Helen?
I just wanted to say kudos to Samantha for putting together the hunting situation, hunting regulations and concerns for folks hiking and traveling on our conservation land. It's a nice job. And I think it really needed to be done. And because where I'm at in the town, I see a lot of folk, especially now, at the peak of the frenzy of hunting. There, it needs to be done, and the more the folk move into the town and really are not aware of the hunting that goes on, I think it's very beneficial to everybody, a safety concern, and thank you very much, Samantha, for doing a good job. That's all.
Tried marketing's not my forte.
Ironically, Helen, after we talked about this last meeting, there's at the end of Airport Road, in the neighborhood that I live in, there's the entrance into the conservation land there. And there was a truck parked with all the hunting stickers in the back window. I'm like, how the hell is this person hunting in this spot? Because it's sandwiched between two neighborhoods, but
Yeah.
apparently there's people that go in there. So
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a delicate conversation, I think. But you know, you just have to be aware of your surroundings, especially when you're walking or riding a horse or walking your dog, or
yeah,
and in this time of the year, you know, you just got to be aware. And I think making the public aware of this as more and more people move into town and want to enjoy our conservation lands and make mention of how wonderful the town is because of our conservation lands. It's just, I think that it's something that just needs to be, you know, made clear that the month of December or right around Thanksgiving, right to the end of the year is, you kind of, you have to be aware. And
Yeah.
I think it's a good that we as a commission take the initiative to put this up on our website. It especially for dogs, you know, and people that just like myself ride on the property. And I think it's all good. And thank you, Samantha. You've done a great job. Lots of information on that too.
Yeah, it was getting a little word heavy.
Thank you. Well, it's,
Dial it back a little bit.
no, you can always just, you know, agree to like, just say, well, okay, I've read enough. But it's good information, good information. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Great. Anything else? Anyone? All right, hearing nothing. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I have a second.
I'll second that.
I'll break all the rules and say all those in favor. Aye.
Bye.
Aye.
Bye.
All right.